everyone. Edna Kimball, Edna Sells, Century 21 Right Real Estate, and welcome to today's episode on how to real estate and how to wave like a beauty queen. We have our special guest with us today, Kristy Eubanks. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, we are happy to have Kristy here, and I'm going to just give you a little bit of a rundown on all things Kristy. So let me just kind of jump into this. So first off, Mrs. Oklahoma at the Nation of States and Nations International.
Yes.
Right? Owner of Junie's Closet, which is, I love it. Frequent shopper there. President-elect of the Tahlequah Main Street, which obviously is near and dear to my heart. And you really put your money where your mouth is by opening a business on Main Street. Love that. Former Queen Mom at the Oklahoma International Pageants, former Mrs. Oklahoma International, former independent distributor of Herbalife, and you've also done general managing for Fastenal, which I love because that's not what I think of when I get into like the beauty pageant part. And it's not on here, but I also know that you've just signed up for like a mother-daughter pageant.
Mm-hmm.
That is so exciting. So you really have got a lot of hats going on here.
Lots of hats.
I love that. I love that. Well, first off, so how does one, what is the proper way to greet Mrs. Oklahoma?
Just hi, Kristy.
Hey, Kristy.
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely.
I can relax then. Okay.
Yes, absolutely relax. So one of the things that is misunderstood about pageantry is that pageantry is all about beauty pageants. Clearly, I am a sneakers and t-shirt kind of girl on the regular. I have 3 daughters, and so working mom, queen, boss, all those things are on my resume of things. But at the end of the day, it's just Kristy, and you wake up and you say, okay, what's on the calendar today? And you do it.
Yes, yes. And I think that that's the thing, just your genuineness comes through, and we were super excited because I was like, I don't know if she'll have time to be on my podcast. And when she said yes, I was like, yay, I love that. I love that.
Well, I appreciate everything that you do for Main Street and the community, so I'm happy to be a part of everything that you do.
It takes a village.
It takes
a village.
To
have an amazing village that we have.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the pageantry world?
So, backstory on myself, I was raised by a single father. My mama was an alcoholic, and she left when I was 8. So, having had an alcoholic mother, I was raised really independently. So I was the eldest child. I have that firstborn syndrome where I am very ambitious and a perfectionist, and I like to
boss
make people pleased. It brings me joy to make other people happy, and I think that there's a lot of mental health and psychology that can go into that. But ultimately, growing up with a dad and one little brother, it was, how can I become like her? I watched Miss USA and I watched Miss America on the TV, and that's who I looked up to. And it was like, I want to be like her when I grow up. Unfortunately, we lived in small town Coweta, Oklahoma, and the reality is we don't have time, money, or relativity. So we were in Coweta, Oklahoma, and I couldn't do those things. I wasn't empowered to do those things. And as I grew into a mother, I had 3 daughters, and somehow, magically, the stars aligned, and my eldest, when she was 6 years old, received an invitation to compete in the nation's largest young girl pageant, National American Miss.
Oh, wow.
And so she went and competed at 6 in Oklahoma and placed top 15. So for us, top 15 is good.
That's great.
But when you've never done anything, it's excellent. And she brought home cash prizes. And so it was really exciting for me because I'm like, this is what I've always wanted. I have my own little Barbie doll. And so she loved it and took to it naturally, and we started competing for her. And we went to an international system called Royal International Miss. When she was 7, she placed first runner-up in an international pageant next to Zali Crouch, who was from Australia.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, okay, we got to go back. We're taking it home. And we went back. And what happens in the pageant world is, just like any other sports team, you age into a new division.
Sure.
So we went when she was 7. She was first runner-up. We went when she was 8. and she did not even place top 15.
Oh.
And so I will never forget her in her beautiful blue dress, bawling in backstage. And I'm down. I had just had Charlotte, so Charlotte is 5, and I'm bent down, holding onto her hands. I'm like, baby, don't cry. It's okay. And she's like, I'm never doing pageants again. I'm never. And I said, you can't quit just because you lose.
Right.
And she looked me dead in the eyes, and she goes, well, you did. Because
Ouch.
I know. I had done some local pageants when I was a young girl and never did well, because I thought pageants were about who was the prettiest, who was the skinniest.
Yeah.
And like, I just didn't really understand that it was about who the person was and what they were providing to the people around them.
Right, right.
And so I said, well, baby, mommy's too old. I have children. And she's like, well, Brooke isn't. Brooke is one of our mom queens from Jay that we know. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And so it was in 2018 that I decided I'm going to do this.
Oh my gosh.
And so I started.
And at that point, 3 children?
3 children.
Okay.
I started putting my personal health back as a priority.
Good.
It's when I started using Herbalife, and I became a distributor for them. I was able to get back to what I call my fighting weight. And I competed in 3 Mrs. MRS for married women pageants. And finally in 2021, I took home the state title of Mrs. Oklahoma International, and I competed internationally and did not make top 15, but I left it all out there on the stage, and I left, and I was extremely proud of myself. And I was like, okay, look, you can do this.
Listen, for the naysayers, you can't naysay until you have put on those heels and walked that. I mean, it is. I actually did for a college fund. It was Teen Miss USA, and
Nice.
And was got some scholarship money. Did okay. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's why most young people get into the pageantry is for the scholarship opportunities. But I'll tell you, even if you don't win and get a scholarship, it's teaching you the skills that you're able to use to get the other scholarships available. You're learning how to engage in community. You're learning how to interview. You're learning how to write up a resume and actually sell yourself.
Yeah.
I was very insecure about selling myself and being able to be proud of who I was. And it took a lot of years to be able to say, I'm Kristy Eubanks, and this is what I have done. And, you know, there's a piece of you that says, okay, you have to be humble, but at the same time, nobody's your cheerleader if you're not your own cheerleader.
I love that. I say that all the time. If you don't invest in yourself, who is going to invest in you, right?
Totally agree.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, because I have kind of a humble background experience also. So I had to, for the scholarship part of it, and really didn't know what I was doing, but it was such a learning process. So I just think anyone who's willing to put themselves out there, I'm super impressed with that, because it's much harder than it looks. So
yeah, well, as soon as I got back from Mrs. Oklahoma, or Mrs. International, which was in July of 2021, I actually bought Junie's. So it was one of those things where I said, why would I stop myself? Why would I hold myself back? If this is what I want to do, let's take the opportunity. And so it was October 2021 that I became the new June at Junie's Closet.
I love it. We love the, I hate to say, the previous.
Yes, I love you. Yes.
Sorry, the previous. So, but we are so excited that you did take over, because it's just so much fun, and I get into trouble every time I go in there. No, not in a bad way, because your prices are so good.
Yeah, we try to keep things affordable. I will say that, you know, it's an honor to be sitting in that location right there in the 100 block of Downtown Tahlequah. I would never want to be anywhere else. And to be able to continue on the legacy that she has built, and having Tahlequah's best boutique, you know. Yes. The reader said.
Exactly.
So
it's in writing.
We are proud to carry on that tradition of being Cherokee County's best boutique, and we are so thankful for all the people that support us.
I love that. So what was the, because you haven't been a business owner.
Correct.
You've worked for other people. That is also a very terrifying leap. So
yes.
What made you make that jump?
My dad is an entrepreneur by spirit. He always had rental property growing up. We always say that he was the king of the slums of Coweta. He had all this
wrong with that?
He had all this rental property, and that's how we were raised with a
Right.
single dad. You know, it takes a lot of ambition for someone to work hard and support their family. And I say that I overcame my trauma because I had someone that pushed that positivity into me.
I love that.
And he worked
Yeah.
really, really hard to make sure that we had all the things that we needed. And because of that, I was inspired to always be pursuing my goals and ambitions. And I have a fashion marketing degree from Northeastern State, which most people would never guess. I always wanted to own a bridal shop. I worked for Kim Butler in college, and I
yes.
was going to own Kimberly's Prom and Bridal. And it's not off the table yet. Kim, if you're watching,
We're
I
going to make a
may.
deal right here.
Let's make a deal. But Kim and I, we became really close friends in college.
She's fabulous.
And
yeah.
now we're neighbors, and I am probably her most loyal, frequent customer because I do indeed buy lots of dresses for myself and my 3 girls. And so I knew that I wanted a business, and when I came to the realization that it was time to open a business, there's this strategy. As someone that has never owned one, do I start from scratch, create a business plan, or am I strategic and I find something that is already successful and just create a new version of it for myself, my own brand? And for me, the answer was easy. Junie's Closet was a perfect location. It was one of my favorite places to shop, and Kim Butler wasn't ready to retire.
Yeah. There you go.
But June was, and so it was an easy choice for me. And as far as running a business, Fastenal did an excellent job of training me how to manage, how to be strategic, how to execute a plan. And so I felt that I was well prepared for it.
That is amazing. Well, we're so excited that you chose Junie's because it would have been so sad to have lost it
Absolutely.
for Tahlequah.
Yeah.
So at what point did you also dive in as far as Tahlequah Main Street?
Yes. So whenever I came to Tahlequah in 2015-16, I came in as a mama and working at Fastenal. So if you don't know what Fastenal is, it's an industrial and construction supply company. So
Which is not part of the fashion or
Yes.
the beauty pageantry.
I sold nuts and bolts for a living for 15 years. But my world was dominated by men around me. I mean, 99% of I encountered each day was a man. And I was looking for something to express who I was and make connections with women in the community. And I found that Tahlequah was a little difficult to do that. Not as a local woman. I was like, how do I get involved? There were not women in Tahlequah Facebook pages. You know,
Right,
those things
right.
didn't exist. We've come a long way as a community in offering networking opportunities. But I was working out at Fitness by Kim over by Reesers, and Ryan Krager and Addie Wyant were exercising there as well. And I thought, I could be friends with them.
Yeah.
They're nice, they're cute, they're fun. And so I kind of got to picking their brains about what they did, and they were both involved in Tahlequah Main Street Association. So literally, the reason I decided to join Main Street is so that I could be a part of this community and meet new people.
That's
and I met
amazing.
amazing women.
Yeah.
Some of my most favorite people in the entire community have served with me on that board for years.
I love that. And I also love the idea, and I think that's why Tahlequah is so amazing, is we're really eclectic. We constantly have people coming in. So I love to have people come in, fall in love with Tahlequah, and then join the boards because it's so important to have new perspectives.
Totally agree.
Because I've never thought about it being hard to meet people, but I've been here for a long time. So so I love that perspective.
Well, and I will tell you that that's one of my goals and ambitions at Junie's, because I get to meet all the new women.
Yeah.
When people come to town, they go shop downtown. I mean, that's the best place to go.
Yeah.
And so I really do try to get a personal relationship with each of my customers. And if I don't know them, I get to know them, ask them what they're doing here, where they came from. And I try to make those connections, help them build relationships, invite them to the places that I know they can go, invite them to the mingles and to the boards and to the community service engagements.
And I think that's so important because people do fall in love with Tahlequah.
Yes.
And we want it to be an easy transition. So I just love that. You're also super, super active on social media.
I am.
Yes. So do you have a background in social media?
I
or
don't.
in marketing?
So my degree is actually marketing with an emphasis in fashion
Okay,
from Northeastern
that
State.
makes more sense because what I'm seeing
But-
is really nice. Yeah.
It was 2006 when I graduated, and we did not have
That's
social media
true.
really.
Yeah.
So we talked about how a place smells and the colors and the feel. So a lot of the energy at Junie's is kind of pulled from that original education. But the social media, I actually learned through a pageantry. I had a pageant director that said part of your scoring, part of your success is being active and present on social media. So I learned how to build a brand as Mrs. Oklahoma, and I carried that education through into my new business.
Oh, that's amazing. One of the things that I love is that you will have the same outfit on several different people.
Yes.
And I love that. I think that that's realistic.
It is.
Let me see what that looks like, you know?
Yes, on a woman, a body.
Yes.
So my girls that work for me are primarily students. I do have a passion for developing young women, and so I like to find them young and help train them and pull them out of their shells. It brings me joy to see these girls find purpose in what they're doing. And by no means do these girls want to be boutique owners when they grow up, but I find out what they do want to do, and I focus their duties on those skills and try to help them find who they really are and what they want to be. With the main young students, most of them are like size 0s and 2s. They're tiny little babies. Sometimes the clothes are too big for them and I have to pin them to them.
Oh my gosh.
And my least favorite thing is modeling myself, primarily because I haven't trained them exactly the right angles for my body.
Oh, there you go.
And so I do try to put the clothes on myself so that I can share with women of, we'll call it a motherly figure, what fits best. But I definitely do know body types and how to dress a woman. And I think that that is very helpful for women.
Absolutely.
When they pick up something,
Yes.
I'm like, you don't want to try that on.
Yeah.
Because when you put clothes on that don't fit right, you feel insecure, whether you're
Yes.
buying it or not. And so I
Right.
try to pull clothes that will make a woman feel her best.
I remember one of the very first interactions that we ever had. You know, I knew who you were,
Right.
you know, and I was like, hey, Kristy, and you were like, hey, I'm not, but we hadn't really ever talked. And I was in to pick up something specific, got it, and then you said, what do you think of this? And you pulled two things, and it was so me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll take them. I was like, because I'm one of those few women, I don't like to try
Right.
on and to shop. I'm more of a hunter-gatherer. I just want to go get what I need and get back, you know.
Lots of people that
so
way.
anytime someone can go, this is what you need, I'm like, yay.
I have so many customers that are that way. They do not ever try on. And they come in and I'm like, okay, this you need, this you need, this you need. And they're like, okay, thank you.
Yep, and they're my staple pieces because
Yeah.
I'm also one of those people, you know, that I find a couple of things that I love and then I get it in every color. So
Right.
love that. Well, obviously Junie's is everybody is aware. It's not our hidden little secret because
Right.
you guys have been voted, you know, Tahlequah's favorite boutique. And we would love to make sure that everybody is aware of that. So we're going to put the information below with a link to your website because they can go online also and see what's happening and how to contact you and your hours and all of that. Is there anything that they should know about Junie's? Any special things coming up?
Yes, the Chamber of Commerce hosts a monthly mingle the first Friday of every month. So June 2nd is our monthly mingle at Junie's in June. And
that's perfect.
the-
I wonder who thought of that.
the only way that you will be one of the first people to get a selfie in the new Barbie box is if you are watching this and you show up at the monthly mingle. So come check it out and get your selfie in the Barbie box.
Oh, how fun. Okay, we all have to do that.
Yes.
That's for sure. Well, we know how many hats you're wearing and how super swamped you are. So we're so thrilled that you were able to pop in and have a conversation with us. We love Junie's, but we really also just wanted to thank you for what you are bringing to the community
Thank you.
because having a strong Tahlequah Main Street is great for all of us. So
Yeah, super proud of our Main
love
Street.
that. Absolutely. Thank you for all of that, all that you do for Tahlequah.
Thank
you. Okay, guys, as usual, please like, follow, and share. Look below for the information for more details about Junie's. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast or know someone that you would like to have on, please reach out and let us know, because someone did recommend Miss Kristy here, and so we were thrilled that she agreed. And as always, please reach out if you have any real estate questions. Now, to wrap up our real estate show, we always want to bring it back to real estate. If money was no object and you could buy your dream home,
Ooh.
what's 3 things this dream home would have to have?
Dream home would have to have 4 bedrooms. We would need lots of land that has trees and access to animals for hunting and gathering.
Okay.
And we would also need a clean yard for the play of the kids.
Okay, well, that's not crazy. I was picturing these massive closets and.
No, we like to keep it simple. We are super, super thrilled in the space that we are in, and we absolutely love that Tahlequah offers a quaint environment, and we love it that way.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, guys, you heard it. Keep it simple. That's the way the beauty queen. Am I doing that right?
That's good.
The wave. Well, thank you so much, Kristy, for joining us. Guys, thanks for watching How to Real Estate. And part of being awesome in real estate is taking care of yourself. You heard that here. Go back and picture what you need to do to give yourself confidence and to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Thanks, everyone.